Welcome, guys. It's race week. We're finally days away from the summer break ending. We're going to get some action on track, and it's going to start thick and fast this weekend because it's a sprint race weekend. We will get qualifying, meaningful action as early as Friday. This weekend, F1 says goodbye to Zandvoort. It's Max Verstappen's final home race under the current agreement, the circuit's first sprint race weekend ever, and the first test after McLaren finally broke through in Hungary. One practice session, 2 races, 72 laps to decide who gets the last word in front of the Orange Army. It's the last orange stand, one last time in Zandvoort. Let's get to the preview. Welcome, guys. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, hit the like. Well, this Friday, like I said, gives the teams just one practice hour before sprint qualifying. Saturday starts with a 24-lap sprint and then ends with the Grand Prix qualifying. Sunday brings 72 laps of a race, and that makes the Friday opening hour brutally important, where it's almost no time to repair a poor ride height, a nervous rear wing or rear end, a setup mistake, or overheating tyres before points are available. The biggest story is probably the farewell. This is Formula One's 40th Dutch Grand Prix and the last one currently contracted at Zandvoort. Max Verstappen's won here 3 times since the race returned, but this time he arrives at his home race chasing the fastest cars rather than the one who leads them. And it's going to be a difficult challenge for him to win again here this weekend. Looking at the championship, well, it's Kimi Antonelli who leads as we start the second half of the season. He's 6 wins, 219 points, 50 clear of Lewis Hamilton, who leads the Ferrari charge for a change, a resurgent Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes lead Ferrari by 72 points in the Constructors' Championship. Those are healthy margins, but the competitive picture is tightening. Ferrari have won in Barcelona and at Silverstone. McLaren won and arrived with fresh momentum after that huge Hungary win. Lando Norris took pole there. He converted it into McLaren's first win. It could have been a 1-2, but for the DNF of Oscar Piastri and his gearbox problem. And the pace of the upgrade car was real. Zandvoort should suit their balance too. And McLaren claimed the entire front row here in 2005. Piastri won, and so Norris and Piastri aren't outsiders here this weekend. They might be the benchmark. We'll get to my predictions on that one. Max Verstappen comes here after a 3rd in Spa and a 2nd in Hungary, and you'd think that's pretty solid positions for a car or a guy that's apparently struggling. He's 6th in the championship, 109 points behind. His record and precision at Zandvoort will keep Red Bull in the fight, but the sentiment you can't hide from is, Max Verstappen will need a perfect qualifying and a clean lap and clean race to beat either of the McLarens or the Mercedes and potentially the Ferraris here this weekend. There's important developments to watch in the paddock before this weekend. Aston Martin, they say the Honda power unit update is arriving here this weekend. They'll be really hungry to see what this can produce. The significant aero package upgrade that came in Hungary was really, really useful for them there. It was a high downforce circuit where confidence mattered more than pure straight line speed. And it's kind of similar here this weekend, and Fernando Alonso could become a genuine points wildcard if this engine actually works as apparently, and the rumours say that it's a big upgrade from them coming, so watch out for them. Cadillac have also made an immediate change at the top. Marcin Badowski has replaced Graham Loudon as team principal. So Zandvoort is Badowski's first race weekend in charge since the move. The team stated that their priorities are a stronger link between the factory and the track, and better reliability, and they continue on their search for first points. So Big changes at Cadillac, probably needed, but we'll see. Apparently, big rumours, and they're moving their base away from Silverstone, which is effectively F1 Valley, isn't it? It's a similar concept to what Silicon Valley, where you've got all the top tech companies in one place over there in the States. F1 Valley is in and around Silverstone. What, 8 of the 10 teams are based out there. They initially had a base out there to scoop up the talent, but they're moving it back to the US, an all-American based team. So we'll see how that and if that improves their fortunes. We've only seen one team, and I think that's one Ferrari and the Racing Bulls, and even they have moved a factory from where they were currently just based in Italy to Silverstone as well, to try and scoop up some of this talent. So big brave move from Cadillac. Will that help them? Time will tell. This circuit, this lap, it's only 4.2 kilometers, this circuit, but it squeezes 14 corners into the dunes. It's a high downforce circuit. Sharp rotation and rear stable axles are massively important around this circuit. You've got the Tarzan at turn 1. It's the clearest conventional overtaking opportunity that you get around this circuit, and then from there the track rises and falls and curls through the banks at turn 3. You've got a rapid middle sector and the 18-degree final corner that fires the cars onto the straight. So as much as it's a narrow, tight track, it does also need some power as well to get you a quick lap time around here. So even Aston Martin, tipped to do well, they'll need power from that Honda unit to pick up some points, so keep an eye on them. Because the circuit is narrow and dirty, really costs your front grip around here. Qualifying carries extra weight. A front row start will give you a huge jump and let you control the race pace and protect your tyres. Starting in traffic just leaves you vulnerable to the overheating and the undercut opportunities. It's a short lap, so the field generally is pretty compressed, but we've seen gaps form between teams quite largely going into the summer break, and we'll see if the work done closes the pack up a little bit, because we have sort of seen 3 tiers of Formula One over the last couple of Grand Prix. The competitive read really is McLaren have the recent pace. Mercedes are strong pretty much everywhere, and they'll compete with that package wherever they go. Verstappen gives Red Bull an overall and performance threat no matter what car he's driving. Ferrari need a clean execution. That's something that Lewis Hamilton lacked in the last couple of Grand Prix before the break. Charles Leclerc was becoming back to the Charles that we know, and he was quick, picked up a win. So watch the space around here, and Aston Martin are the team to watch with the big upgrade. In terms of tyres and strategy and the weather, Pirelli have come with the C2 for the hard, the C3 for the mediums, and the C4 for the softs. It's the same trio of tyres we saw in 2005. The bankings add the heavy vertical load, and the long corners add the lateral stress to these tyres. And you can get beach sand blown onto the track, which makes it incredibly dirty when the winds blow it so close to the sea here. And it means that the grip and the tyre temperature can move around even when the track's dry. So a tricky circuit in whatever conditions we might get. For the Grand Prix, I think it's probably going to be a one-stop strategy. Will probably be the baseline, a medium-hard strategy. Mediums give you the launch off the line, and then you've got the strategic flexibility then potentially to go on hards. Early safety cars or late safety cars may change the strategy somewhat. We'll see how that plans out. We've had a safety car in every Grand Prix, or some version of it, in terms of virtual or full safety car in some form or another every single race weekend. I wouldn't bet against it here, despite you know, the teams having some time to work on their cars and try and fix issues, but they've had a mandatory 2-week break, so they've not had this whole time working on cars. The factories have shut down completely. It's just whether they've picked stuff up once they've got up and running after the 2-week stop. On to my predictions for this weekend, and it's a tough one, but I predict Kimi Antonelli to retain his place at the top for sprint qualifying. I've then got Lando, Norris to be in second place and Lewis Hamilton in third. We do find Ferrari, when there is just one practice session, they tend to have a car that they can get working to a good standard straight away, and then we see everybody else catch up. So watch them go strong in the sprint at least. And so for the sprint race, I have Kimi Antonelli to win it, Lewis Hamilton second, and Lando Norris in third place. The McLaren's coming strong still. On to the main qualifying session. I'm carrying on with a Kimi Antonelli pole position, Charles Leclerc in second, and a Max Verstappen third place. For the race, Kimi to win it, Max second, and in third, Lando Norris. So, yeah, get in your comments on that one. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts on that one, and for both the sprint qualifying and for the sprint race, and also for the main race qualifying and the race itself. My upgrade wildcard, I think Fernando Alonso might pick up some points, so watch out for them. And my chaos pick is Isaac Hadjar for a top 6 if the sprint weekend produces sort of an unusual grid. So watch out for them. It is the final Zandvoort weekend. It's got everything. We've got a championship leader trying to just reassert control after the break. We've got a McLaren team arriving probably at the exactly the right moment with momentum. Fresh upgrades are coming for them as well. It's an hour set up to solve the issues that they might have, and that might give Max Verstappen his last home Grand Prix stand and a chance to pull off something special. Now, who tells me? Who writes the final chapter? Get in the comments. Let me know who your thoughts are with the wild card, with the sprint winners. Please like, subscribe for the full weekend. I will be doing the watch-alongs. Join me for them. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.